Imagine Eurasia. 15,000 years ago. You are a hunter-gatherer, trying to survive. Your daily life is a simple, unending loop of survival. You wake up every morning with one goal: try not to die. Danger is everywhere, from predators to harsh weather. You must find food to keep going another day. The elements are brutal and unforgiving. At night you finally rest, hoping to survive tomorrow. But one night you hear a strange rustling in the darkness. You freeze. Staring at two glowing eyes in the shadows, a wild wolf emerges, but it does not attack. Instead of running or fighting, you both just watch each other. This quiet moment is where the story of dogs begins. How did wild, dangerous wolves become our closest companions? The mystery of domestication is full of surprises. It did not happen the way most people think. Humans did not simply decide to tame wild predators. No ancient human planned to create a pet that sleeps on pillows. The real process was much more chaotic and accidental. First, we must understand that dogs are not a separate species. Biologically, they are a domesticated subspecies of the gray wolf. Every dog breed today descends from those ancient wolves. At some point, humans and wolves began to coexist. But when exactly did this partnership begin? Scientists have debated this timeline for decades. Estimates range between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago. The archaeological record is often messy and incomplete. DNA evidence helps, but it can still be confusing. What we do know is that dogs were the very first domesticated animal. They were partners long before agriculture or livestock existed. Dogs were already our friends when we were still nomadic hunters. This was not a planned agricultural decision. It happened independently in multiple places across Eurasia. It occurred before humans even figured out how to make bread, which raises the obvious question: how did it happen? This is where the old romantic ideas begin to fall apart. The classic story says a brave hunter found a litter of wolf pups. He took them home, raised them, and trained them. They became loyal companions and helped him hunt. It is a heartwarming story, but it is highly unlikely. Adult wolves are incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to domesticate. Even if raised from birth, a wolf retains its wild instincts. As they grow, their wild nature remains unchanged. They remain dangerous predators, not household pets. Zoos and wildlife sanctuaries know this very well. Trying to tame a wolf by force usually ends in disaster. So if humans did not tame them, what did happen? The leading theory is that wolves domesticated themselves. Yes, the wolves chose to adapt to us. It was a gradual process driven by survival. And it all started with our trash. As humans became better hunters, they left behind waste. They generated piles of bones and discarded food scraps. For a scavenger, this was a free, reliable feast. It was the ancient equivalent of a five-star restaurant. Some wolves started hanging around human camps. They realized that staying close meant easy food. But only certain wolves could do this. It required a very specific trait: tolerance. The aggressive, fearful wolves stayed far away. They wanted nothing to do with humans. But the calmer, less fearful wolves edged closer. They were slightly more curious and less aggressive. They could tolerate the presence of humans and fire. And those calmer wolves got fed. They survived better because they had a reliable food source. Meanwhile, the aggressive wolves struggled to find food. They had fewer offspring over time. Over many generations, this created a powerful selection pressure. Nobody planned this, and nobody engineered it. The wolves closest to camps had the lowest stress levels. They were the calmest and friendliest of their kind. They were more likely to approach than to flee. And their puppies inherited those friendly tendencies. Natural selection was working without any human intention. It was nudging wolf behavior in a very specific direction. It was nudging them directly toward us. Now something truly bizarre happens here. To understand it, we must look at a famous scientific experiment. In the 1950s, a Russian geneticist named Dmitry Belyaev began a study. He wanted to see if he could recreate domestication in real time. He worked under difficult conditions in Soviet Russia. Genetics was considered a dangerous pseudoscience at the time, but Belyaev found a clever way to disguise his research. He claimed he was studying fox breeding for the fur industry. In reality, he was breeding them for one single trait. He selected only for tameness and friendliness toward humans. Every generation, he tested the foxes for their reaction to humans. He only allowed the calmest, friendliest foxes to breed. There were no other selection criteria used. What happened next surprised the entire scientific community. Within just a few decades, the foxes began to change. They did not just become friendlier, they changed physically. Their ears became floppy, and their tails started to curl. Their coats developed patches of white and brown fur. Their faces became rounder, resembling domestic dogs. They started barking and seeking human attention. Belyaev had not selected for any of these physical traits. Selecting for tameness had unlocked a cascade of changes. This phenomenon is known as domestication syndrome. Genetic pathways for tameness are linked to physical development. When you breed for friendliness, you get floppy ears as a bonus. The package deal of domestication is complex and fascinating. And crucially, this experiment showed it does not take millions of years. With strong selection pressure, changes happen in just a few generations. This means ancient wolves adapted to humans very quickly. But what did humans do when wolves started getting friendly? This was a two-way street of mutual adaptation. At some point, a human decided not to throw their spear. They decided this creature was tolerable, perhaps even useful. And this realization happened in multiple places around the world. Genetic evidence suggests multiple independent domestication events. It was not a single magic moment, but a widespread pattern. Both species found a way to benefit from each other. Once humans realized the benefits, the partnership accelerated. Wolves warned of danger, tracked prey, and guarded camps. The relationship evolved from tolerance to active cooperation. Humans began actively keeping the friendliest wolves close. They fed them, protected them, and encouraged their breeding. A co-evolutionary partnership was officially formed. It worked spectacularly well for both sides. But domestication also changed the wolf's brain. Dogs are cognitively very different from wild wolves. They develop unique ways of interacting with us. One major difference is how they read human gestures. If you point at something, a dog will look where you point. A wild wolf will simply ignore your pointing hand. Even young puppies understand this gesture naturally. This is not a learned behavior. It is genetic. They have been shaped to understand human communication. Dogs also make eye contact, in a way wolves never do. In wolf society, direct eye contact is a challenge. Dogs look at us for guidance and reassurance. This eye contact triggers a release of oxytocin. It is the same bonding hormone found between mother and child. You are chemically bonding with your dog when you look at them. A former predator has been rewired to love us. Dogs also developed a unique facial muscle. This muscle allows them to raise their inner eyebrows. It gives them that classic, irresistible puppy dog eyes look. It makes their faces look sad, soft, and baby-like. This trait was likely selected because it works on humans. It triggers our natural instinct to nurture and protect. Dogs evolved a biological hack to manipulate our emotions. You might think you chose your dog, but it is a deep evolutionary bond. Their ancestors spent thousands of years evolving to make us choose them. By 10,000 years ago, dogs were fully integrated into human society. We know this because we find them buried together. Ancient graves show dogs buried alongside their owners. Often, they were arranged carefully as love companions. These people wanted their companions with them, even in death. The first domesticated relationship was built on genuine companionship. It was not just about utility or work. It was a bond that crossed the line into love. In a brutal world of survival, humans cared for their dogs. They grieved them and buried them with ceremony. This deep emotional connection has lasted for thousands of years, and that same emotional logic continues today. We still spend our resources to keep our dogs happy and comfortable. The bond has remained unchanged across 15,000 years. So what happened after those early days of partnership? The initial domestication was just the beginning of the story. What followed was a dramatic transformation of a species. Humans took control of the evolutionary wheel. Natural selection was replaced by intentional human breeding, and humans turned out to love variety. Over thousands of years, we bred dogs for specific jobs. We created hunting dogs, herding dogs, guard dogs, and sled dogs. We bred powerful war dogs and tiny, gentle lap dogs. We created an incredible diversity of shapes, sizes, and temperaments. The genetic variation within the dog genome is truly unique. The speed of this diversification is astonishing. In a short evolutionary window, we produced extreme physical differences. From the fast greyhound to the stocky bulldog, the functional wolf body plan was completely reshaped. Each breed was tailored to a specific human need or preference. Most modern breeds are actually very recent creations. Many were formally defined only in the 19th century. This was a shift from practical working dogs to strict breed standards. Dog breeding became a highly organized competitive sport, which brings us to the modern era and our current relationship. Dogs today occupy a unique and privileged position in our lives. They live in our homes and sleep in our beds. They are even included in our legal wills. They have social media accounts, merchandise, and birthday parties. Some dogs enjoy a quality of life higher than many humans in history, and they do not care about the luxury. They just want a dirty sock. We spend billions on pet care every single year. We experience deep, genuine grief when they pass away. To our brains, they are true members of the family. We often prioritize their health and medical care over our own. We talk to them, apologize to them, and share our days with them. We feel like they understand us, even without words. None of this was planned or intended from the start. It began with a wolf eating scraps near a fire, and now we buy them premium, specialized food. Evolution is patient, and the results are often humorous. But there is a deeper, more extraordinary conclusion here. In almost every other case of animal domestication, humans were in control. We captured them, penned them, and bred them for our own purposes. We wanted their meat, milk, labor, or materials. The relationship was largely one-sided and forced. But dogs are different. They were active participants in their own domestication. They approached us, adapted to us, and chose to stay. Their brains changed to understand us, and we adapted to them. We changed each other neurologically and culturally. Humans with dogs survived better in the wild. They gave warnings, helped hunt, and shared our journeys. They may have been a key factor in our success as a species. Without them, our civilization might look very different. We did not just create dogs. In a very real way, dogs helped create us. That ancient wolf looking for scraps was starting a partnership. It was the spark of a bond that would outlast empires. A bond that outlasted every language and civilization. It has survived through every era of human history. It turned two very different creatures into a family. So next time your dog falls asleep on your feet, or looks at you with those cute pleading eyes, or greets you with pure joy when you come home, Remember that you are witnessing 15,000 years of history. That happiness is ancient, built slowly over generations. It was built at a cost to their wild nature, but it was worth it. And honestly, it was worth it for us too. Thank you for watching the story of our oldest friends.